All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing yet another beer from Hop Butcher for the World, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Normalize the Signal. So they're calling this one a Mosaic and Sabro-hopped Double IPA. Comes in at 7.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 5 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to Hop Butcher for hooking me up with this one. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with, and this time around they sent me 9 different beers, 8 of which I will review. One of them I already reviewed, so I'll just enjoy that off camera. And I'm really pumped to give this one a go because they released this one earlier this year, and the channel was on hiatus. I was in no condition to be drinking or reviewing any beers, and I was bummed out because it's Sabro, and I love trying any beers with Sabro, and it's especially from Hop Butcher. So I'm really pumped about this one. Now I will say, for those of you here in the West New York area, I don't know when I'm going to post this review, but this beer, along with a Megabyte, which I just reviewed recently, did show up here in the West New York area. I know Premier Gourmet got their hands on some, so Hop Butcher is showing up here in the West New York area, and that is fantastic. So some of these beers you might be able to pick up in the future. I didn't see the price point on them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're somewhere in like the $5 to $6 range, like so many of the beers showing up nowadays are. It's usually cheaper in the Chicago land area where Hop Butcher is from, but even if they're $5, $6 a can, a lot of these just to try, well worth it. So let me do a little roll here, and then we'll get into the glass here, hashtag proper glassware. So not gonna look at taste notes, try not to look at them right now because it's on the back of when I'm opening it, so I'll just stare straight ahead now, look right at my glass here. Gonna look at taste notes at the end if I remember. Sometimes I don't, most of the time I do, we'll see. Okay, so put that like this, and yeah, so that's a little bit darker than most of their beers. That has this honey orange color, definitely murky, turbid, dare I say murky, about a finger of light tan, almost, yeah, off-white into light tan, creamy looking head. The color is kind of weird though. Sometimes it looks a little bit light tan, other times off-white, whatever, doesn't really matter. So yeah, that looks beautiful as far as like these crazy New England style IPAs go, even if they don't call it New England style. Good nose. That smells great. So with Mosaic and Sabro, I'm thinking berry, maybe blueberry. A lot of times with Mosaic, I just get generic red berry, or nondescript red berries, I like to say. Yeah, that's what I would say. This is more of like a red berry. It's like a candied red berry to me. Oh, underneath it, there's a lot of citrus too. Tangerine, grapefruit, like a more of a pink, ruby red type of grapefruit. But it has this big overall candied vibe. The berries, the citrus, everything's candied. Like a lot of times people start throwing out like, you know, I don't know why I did that, but like, Starburst. It's like the strawberry Starburst, or like a orange Starburst. Sure. Yeah, definitely. I don't know why. I've done that before. Skittles, Starburst, Lifesavers. I've all kinds of candied, all kinds of candied notes before. But yeah, it has a huge candy presence. So berry, citrus. Not really getting any coconut in the nose. There's a little bit of like a pineapple peach thing going on. There's this light, dank herbaceousness, touch of like an earthiness on the back of the palate that, you know, because I'm tasting it right now, so it's on the back of the palate. Like as I sniff it, all that sweet candied fruit is up front, and then you get like a little bit of dank herbaceous earthiness. Yeah, not much more. There's like 3 or 4 characters. They're pretty damn nice. It smells pretty good. I'm hoping there's a little bit more coconut in the taste. We'll see. Anyway, cheers everybody, and thanks again to Hop Butcher. So the coconut hits me like 3/4 of the way on the palate. Like right before, there's this really nice dank, earthy kind of finish. It's not really herbaceous, more like a dank earthiness on the back of the palate. Maybe even like a little bit of like a pine resin. Body in this one's like lower side of medium, approaching medium, a little bit thinner than a lot of their 7.5% double IPAs are. Body really smooth, soft. This one's not overly creamy, but really nice, soft, and smooth on the palate. A little bit more carbonation from this. Most of their 7.5% double IPAs, their mouthfeels and their bodies are pretty consistent. They're usually like medium body with a nice, soft, smooth, creamy kind of aspect. It'll fluctuate from beer to beer ever so slightly. It's slight variation for each beer. This one's a little bit more carbed, I would say. That's the most simplistic way to put it, which isn't bad. It's just a little bit more carb than the others. The taste, though, yeah, right at the forefront. There's candied berry, and that hits me right away. And I would say if I was doing this blind, like a candied like raspberry, that's what I go with. Maybe a blueberry. I mean, Mosaic kicks out blueberry. We'll just say a candied mixed berry kind of at the front of the palate. Right after that, I'm hit with a lot of citrus, and again, sweeter citrus, orange, like more of that pink grapefruit I was talking about, and then a little bit of a tangerine, but sweet candied versions of those. Or if you like actually opened up and it took a piece of like an orange and like sprinkled a little sugar on, kind of like that. Then middle of the palate, 3/4 of the way through the palate, that's where the coconut hits me. And it's like a boom, just like I'm here and then I'm gone. Like a whisper of a pina colada. It's pineapple and coconut right at the middle to 3/4 of the way through the palate. But as soon as it appears, it disappears, which is cool, but I wish that would hang out a little bit longer on my palate. And then again, it finishes with this dank, earthy, slightly pine resin finish. This is sweeter, but it has a semi to full-on dry finish. Mildly bitter, more dry than bitter. So while this is really sweet with all those candied fruits and just a sweeter kind of malt sensation, it's pretty dry. So it's almost well-balanced, approaching well-balanced. It still leans a little bit sweeter, but this isn't as sweet as the aforementioned Megabyte. This is a little bit better, I think. 7.5%, you really can't tell. And the body and the mouthfeel this time, maybe I wouldn't guess 7.5. I might guess like 6.5, 7 from that aspect. Just the alcohol's not really hitting me. Really good beer. I think I like this a little bit more than, I'm just comparing the beers I had recently than the Megabyte, because I think it's not as sweet as that beer. It has a more balance to it with that dryness. And I like that kiss of pina colada midway through the palate. And I like those candied berry citrus tones. So, and it's unmistakable how sweet like those fruits are at the beginning of the palate. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you're drinking this one or you sat down and you're a beer tuber and you review it, I feel like that would hit you as well. But I don't know. We all have different palates, right? So rating on, we're going to look at the tasting notes. I didn't look, but rating on Normalize the Signal from Hop Butcher. I'm going to go high 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.35 out of 5. Almost gets into the low 4.5 range. I think I would want a little bit more balance, and I'd want that pina colada vibe to linger on the palate a little bit more for me. As is, though, 4.35 out of 5 is a really good score. It's a really good beer. But I feel the Mosaic is kind of leading the way here, and I would like a little bit more influence from the Sabro. That's me personally saying that, so take it for what it is. We'll pour the rest in here. We'll read the tasting notes, then go into price and availability. So, tasting notes. It's really tough to not read these two, like when you pick up the can or do the unboxing. But good thing is that a lot of times you can barely see them, just like this one. I mean, you can barely see the fucking things. And if you have bad vision, you probably won't be able to see them. So, the first tasting note. Am I a fucking pro or not? No, I looked at this beforehand. That's why I said candied citrus. Totally said it. I can't look like a fool. Not like I've done 40 plus whodunit beer reviews and probably have missed badly on half of them. But candied citrus all day. I would say more candied berry. I think should be on here. I mean, the candied citrus is definitely there, but I get more candied berry. So I totally agree because I said candied berry and citrus, but I would say berry first. Night next. Jesus Christ. Light pine. I said pine resin a little bit. Light, yeah, I guess I agree with that. I would say for this, unless it's the last tasting note, I would go with more like a herbaceousness or like dank, or they like to say pleasant dank. That's what I would go with more in this one, but light pine, fine. And then last is a vibrant tropical. Is that what they're talking about, like pina colada? Because sure. So candied citrus, no doubt. Light pine, sure. Vibrant tropical, very generic, so sure. But candied citrus for sure. Like that's 100%. But for me, for the tasting notes, I'd go candied citrus, pleasant dank, and like pina colada. That's what I would probably put on there. But who the fuck am I? Just a random beer tuber who doesn't know anything. So price and availability. In the Chicagoland, I think these are like $15 or $16 for a pack. Fucking great value. If you order them online in the States or overseas, or you get them at your local bottle shop, they're probably going to be $5, $6, $7 a can, because that's just how it is nowadays. But if you do get it from the source, aka around the Chicago area where they distribute, no more than $16 a 4-pack for this. So great value from that aspect. And I would buy something like this in my area for $5-6 cans. I've spent $7 to $8 on cans before. Not happy about it, but I've done it. So knowing Hop Butcher's quality, if this showed up, like I said, this showed up. I don't know what the price point was, but I would pay upwards of $6 easily to try that can, maybe even $7 if I never have it before. So availability, like I said, all over the place now. If you really want Hop Butcher, you can get your hands on it. So not much more to say. Really good beer, very delicious. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. And if you've seen this or Megabyte show up in your area, let me know what you think about it as well. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Thanks again, Hop Butcher, for another beer from them. Pretty damn delicious. To the next one. Cheers.